I'm attempting to complete every single GameCube game, and I'm using a random number generator to pick the next game. Last episode, we got popular in the herb Sims in the City, and this week we're becoming the beast known as King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong was released November 17th, 2005, and was developed and published by Ubisoft. When going into this game, I figured it was going to be pretty bad because it was a movie title, but I had more fun with it than I thought. Before we get started, make sure to like this video because it really helps out the channel, and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss out on any future games. Without further ado, this is my experience with Peter Jackson's King Kong. In King Kong, we're going to complete the story to consider this one beat. The game starts with a clip from the movie that the game is based on. This shows the characters that are going to play a major role in the game. In this game, the main person that we're going to use is Jack, and we'll also play as King Kong at some point. The story starts with us arriving to Skull Island and rowboating our way to the island in a super bad storm. This is where we meet Jack Black's character, Haynes, which is going to be a big part of the game, and Anne. Considering this game is pretty old, it looks pretty good graphically. We get to this gate and have to open it. King Kong plays as a first-person game. You'll get different weapons throughout the game, and we'll have to take down different enemies using guns, fire, and spears. The first encounter of enemies, we have to defend a beach from giant crab monsters, while the other people open the gate. We meet Anne, and she talks to us at this point in the game. She also has a huge role in the game, and the story is basically saving her for the most part. I had some issues figuring out how I wanted to break this game down because most of the game is the same and a lot of the environments are the same. So I'm going to do my best, keeping it as interesting as possible. I found that my favorite gun in this game and the one that does the most damage is the shotgun. In this game, there are puzzles that require you to either open up gates or by catching brush on fire, you can open new areas. The first major encounter we get locked in this stone structure and we have to fight giant centipedes to escape. Some of the smaller enemies in the game can be used to distract bigger enemies or get creatures to move out of the way. This can help you solve puzzles or advance into the next room. The next part has us protecting Anne from these weird looking bat things. These are super annoying to deal with because they fly around you. Some parts have us trucking through water like we're a World War I army guy, holding our weapon above our head, which makes us very defenseless. A feature I really liked was that if someone has a better weapon than you, you can tell them to switch with you. This helps when you run out of ammo sometimes and even gives you a weapon that is more effective at whatever part you are at. This part was our first experience with the sniper, and that works better not zooming, so you're no-scoping. So that's how I usually shot the gun without zooming in. After each mission, it shows you your path on a map and marks an X to the area that you're in. We come across the native people of the island and they take us prisoner. Then they leave us out on like a bridge balcony thing as a sacrifice to King Kong. King Kong does show up and he just takes Anne. He leaves us alone, he doesn't care about us, he just takes Anne. She does this blood-curdling scream throughout the whole game, and it's so annoying, and it makes your ears want to bleed. The Jack Black character shows up in the nick of time and unties us so that we can advance and escape. The next areas has us fight our first dinosaurs that are just on this island, and no one has discovered them, but they just live on this island. A lot of this mission is distracting them and slowly taking them down with spears and dinosaur bones. Jack Black gets taken by a giant bat creature and we have to chase him down to save him. There's this part in this mission that we have us walking across these sketchy pieces of wood. This would be super scary to do, so more power to you, Jack. We take down the giant bat using the shotgun and spears and then open a gate to move to the next mission. In this mission, we have to get rid of these 3 bigger dinosaurs. They're kind of like raptors. Haynes shows up with a Tommy gun, and we can do that switch I was talking about to use it. This makes this part so much easier than trying to take them down with sharp bones and spears. This was the first time in the game that I died because they attacked me when I didn't have a weapon ready. Jack can take about 2 or 3 hits depending on the enemy, and sometimes you just don't do well against stuff. I like this part of the game because it's like realistic in the aspect of like if you got attacked by a dinosaur, you wouldn't be able to like get hit like a bunch of times or have it bite you a bunch of times. You would die quickly. After doing that part, a giant T-Rex chases us down, and I apparently drew the short straw and had to distract it while they open these doors. We get into this little pool of water, and King Kong shows up to save the day. We finally get to play the King Kong here for the first time. King Kong plays in a third-person perspective. King Kong's able to do some parkour, like climbing vines and running on walls, climbing up like trees and different things. Then in battle, you just swing your arms and punch things out of the sky. The really cool part of this is that on bigger enemies, King Kong can do special moves, like tearing the wings off of a bat or breaking the jaw of a T-Rex. I really like these parts. After saving Anne as King Kong, we play as Jack again and run into a Stegosaurus, I think. I don't really know my dinosaurs, so let me know in the comments what type of dinosaurs these are. They're not hostile and they just sort of walk in a line. They can crush you if you walk in the way, but are not actively trying to murder your character like everything else on this island. The next part has us protecting Jack Black and Haynes from the other side of a walkway with a sniper rifle. This was pretty cool. We got back from walking in the dinosaur area and have to go all the way to the bottom and bring fire up to clear a path. Little raptors attack us on our way back. I actually found this part to be somewhat challenging. After completing this, we finally meet a new character, Jimmy. He's being attacked by little baby dinosaurs and we have to protect him. Then we take his raft down the river and clear out a few bats and then get chased by 2 T-Rex. This is a pretty actiony scene. We basically just have to fight them off until we get to the bottom. King Kong shows up to protect us. He breaks the T-Rex's jaws and then we have to walk behind Anne and protect her from enemies while she solves puzzles for us. We go back to playing as Jack and get attacked by these water alligators. These things are super annoying if you're in the water because you can't really use your weapons to kill them because you're holding them above your head. Then again, we switch back to King Kong and clear areas while protecting Anne again. Then he tries to kill Jack and all the other human characters by turning over this giant log that we're crossing. We survive and then have an enemy gauntlet against raptors. I love this part of the game. It's so fun. You have the shotgun and it just blows them away. It's so fun to do this part. Next is when the game gets completely broken. You have to run away from another T-Rex. You climb up like this little slope, and at the very end, there's supposed to be a cutscene. However, when I did this part like 10 times, the cutscene never would trigger. So I would get to the next area and just stand around. Nothing would just happen. Like nothing would happen at all. We would just be wandering around. You couldn't go any further. Good thing there was a bat here, because the only way to reset the mission would be for that to kill you. I don't really know what happened here. I'm not sure if this is a glitch just that I experienced or if this was a problem that everyone had that played this. When the cutscene does work, Anne triggers a fire to call King Kong to come save us again. We get this crazy cutscene where Haynes is supposed to shoot at King Kong, but in the cutscene, he's facing the opposite direction and then gets trampled by a T-Rex. The next part has us playing as King Kong, trying to catch up to Anne. She got swooped up by a giant bat. I died during this part, and the game spawns us floating in the air for some weird reason, and then the game froze, and I had to restart. I didn't really lose any progress from this, so that was good, but it was another problem directly after the other one, so I'm not really sure if it's just broken or I was having issues with my game. We get a cutscene that shows that Haynes is in fact dead from his injuries, and Jimmy and Jack have to run back down the hill to get to the plane to rescue us. When we get to the plane, Jack tells Jimmy to get on, and then we're gonna go back and save Anne from the clutches of King Kong. We traverse in some water and find his lair. He's sleeping, or he's dead. Yeah, he looks dead, but he's actually sleeping. Anne notices us, and she says, "Oh, I'll come over there and talk to you," so we don't wake him up. So when she comes over, she immediately jumps in the water and makes a huge splash, which in fact wakes him up. He's so loud. King Kong wakes up and we escape. During this scene, he starts getting attacked by some giant snake creatures. I don't really know why this happened or where they even came from. But they are pretty cool because you can grab them and throw them across the arena. So that's pretty neat. It's like another little special move that King Kong has. Jack and Ann arrive back at the settlement where we got captured before. And Ann gets captured again. Guess who comes to save her for like the 100th time? Oh, you guessed it. King Kong. We get to play as King Kong again, and we run through this area in the settlement and kill a bunch of the natives, then run back to the shoreline with Ann. Jack Black's character then gasses King Kong, and after putting up some fight, he eventually falls asleep after lightly sitting Ann down so he doesn't hurt her. Fast forward, and King Kong is a show for Jack Black in New York City. People are taking pictures of him. King Kong gets frustrated, and you finally, by tapping the A button, get to break free of your chains and start destroying the city of New York. This is a super fun part, and it's a much needed change from the jungle environment. They did a really good job here making the environments look different and something cool at the end of the game. After a little bit of navigating, taking out some army tanks and trucks and police cars, King Kong finds Ann, he picks her up, and he proceeds to climb the Empire State Building. Once we get to the top, we have the iconic scene where he's swatting planes out of the air. And once we get to the top, we have the iconic scene where he's swatting planes out of the air. They're shooting them with their machine guns, but he just isn't strong enough, and he eventually falls all the way from the top of the Empire State Building to the ground below. This is actually pretty sad. They have like a little cutscene for it. It's pretty sad to see. The next scene shows King Kong dead, laying on the ground, and Jack Black says, "Beauty killed the beast," which in fact, they all killed the beast by taking him from Skull Island. And that's the end of the game. We get the credits. From my understanding, if you go back and you do all the missions, you can set high scores on each level, and if you do this and get 100%, then I think there's a different ending. I'm not exactly sure. That's not something that I did. But overall, I surprisingly really like this game, way more than I thought I was going to, and I probably would recommend it. It's only like 6 hours long. It's pretty enjoyable. It's just the environments are bland. That's it though for King Kong. If you want to find out what the next game we're playing is, stick around. If not, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. And we are going to find out on the count of 3 what we're getting. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 368. What is 368? It is Power Rangers Dino Thunder. I've also never played this game. We get a Power Rangers game, huh? That should be fun. So that's what we got next time. Power Rangers Dino Thunder.